Hi, my name's Rich Harrington, and welcome to another edition of Photoshop for Video. Today, I'd like to show you a big time saver when it comes to prepping photos for use in DVD slideshows. We're going to create a droplet that's going to go ahead and size the photos, as well as cut down any interlace flicker on those images with a simple drag and drop. To do this, we're going to take advantage of some pre-built actions that ship with Photoshop CS2 or CS3. Let's see how. Now, to do this, I'm going to jump on in here and just open up an image that's representative of what we're trying to fix. And I'll send this over to Photoshop and open up a photo. And what we're going to do is take advantage of some actions. So if we take a look here, we'll see some video actions in the Actions palette submenu. If you don't see your Actions palette, just choose Window, Actions. Now, these video actions were written by me and a guy named Daniel Brown. And you'll find some cool things here that'll fix your photos and get them ready. Now, an important note, you'll see some broadcast safe actions in here. This is only if you are working with older analog equipment or older nonlinear editors. Make sure that your NLEs want you to have 601 levels, where you're falling between 16 and 235 on an RGB scale. Some older Avid systems and a lot of older analog equipment needs this, but most modern NLEs have switched to wanting to work with the full 0 to 255 range. So stay away from the broadcast safe luminance action unless you actually need to fix the video for older analog equipment. Now, back to the DVD slideshow. We've got this here, and I want to take advantage of the DVD slideshow. If I look at this, I'll see that there's some stops. When I normally run this action, what happens is it comes up with a little dialog box giving me instructions on how to use it. Now, once you know how that action works, you don't want that stop, so you're just going to throw that stop away. If at any point in time you need to restore that, simply reload the actions from the submenu and it'll revert to their original saved state. Now, besides the DVD slideshow action, we're going to use the interlace flicker removal, but it's in the same boat here. We need to get rid of the stop so it doesn't delay the action. Now, I'm going to make a new action that plays both of those actions. So we'll click the new action icon here and we'll say DVD combo. And I'll click record. And I'll say, okay, the first thing I'd like you to do is play that DVD slideshow action, play. It goes through, sizes the image, and correctly letterboxes or pillar boxes the image. One of the problems you have with a DVD slideshow is that photos are often not the shape of a television screen. The DVD slideshow action will take care of sizing the photo down, converting it from square to non-square pixels, and then either letterboxing or pillar boxing the image as needed so it'll best fit onto a video screen. Now, with that part done, I want to select the interlace flicker removal action and press play. And what happens is it processes the image and cuts down on interlace flicker. Interlace flicker is very prone on low-resolution devices and interlaced screens. And what happens is areas with very thin detail tend to shimmer on screen. By running these two actions, we've prepped the image very well for the DVD slideshow. I can go ahead and click stop because I'm done recording my new action. Now, with that DVD combo action selected, I could choose File, Automate, Create Droplet. And this allows me to store the droplet. So I'll choose and I'll name it DVD Prep and store that to the desktop. I also want to take advantage and suppress any file warnings here. You don't want the action to stop because it encounters a color profile error when opening, for example. Similarly, you want to go ahead and change the error log so any problems when saving are simply documented to an error log file and the action continues to run. To do that, we'll say log the errors to a file and we'll choose a place here and we'll save it. I need a new folder here, so we'll call this DVD slideshow. There we go. And I'll save my error log inside of it. I'll also make sure that I've targeted that DVD slideshow for the photos to be saved in it. That works well. And we've got this here. If I want to, I could rename it for the particular slideshow, or we'll just leave it with the current document name. And I'll say make this compatible for both Mac and Windows. That way, even if I'm building these on a Mac and I need to go to a Windows to author with Encore, or maybe I'm working on Windows and I need to go to DVD Studio Pro on a Mac, the files will come in and be compatible. Now, there's one important option here, and that is you need to check this box that says Override Action Save As command. What's going to happen here if you don't check this box is they're going to keep prompting you with a dialog box to specify what you want to name the files. Turn this on and set a naming convention. Now this is fine here. It's going to go ahead and do a Save As, and that's fine. And we've specified the name and the extension. That works well. And it looks like we're in good shape. So let's go ahead and create that droplet. And the droplet will be created on your desktop where you specified it. At this point, I'm going to close this photo and not bother saving it. And we're just going to take that whole folder of images and drop it to the droplet. You could select all the individual images, or you can even put an alias in here of multiple folders. If you put a shortcut or an alias to a bunch of folders inside of one folder, that's an easy way to run a batch process on a lot of images all at once. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and grab that folder of images, and we'll drop it onto the DVD prep action there. There's the droplet. I let go. And what happens is it sends those images to Photoshop. Now, you'll notice one little gotcha just happened. These are JPEG files, and JPEG files want to have a file format specified. So that's a problem. Let's go ahead and get around this really quick with an easy fix. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here for a second, and we'll just close this. And what I'm going to do is change these images. Easiest way to do that is we'll just come over here to Photoshop, and we'll say File, Scripts, Image Processor. Now, I've said it many times, JPEGs are evil. Every time you modify a JPEG file, it recompresses and you lose quality. Plus, if you try to batch process JPEGs, they're going to give you headaches here because the JPEG files want you to specify the compression when you close the file. Not a big deal here. We're just going to go ahead and select those images here. That'll be a piece of cake. There we go. I've selected that folder of images and I click Choose. And I'll say, go ahead and save it into the same location, but convert those to TIFFs. That works really well, and I'll say Run, and all those images will become TIFF files. Now, the advantage here is that you can then drag and drop those TIFFs onto the droplet. The better solution here is to just stop shooting JPEG. If you're getting JPEG files from a digital camera, try to get that person to switch to TIFF or RAW when they're shooting. If that person is you have no reason not to be shooting something better than a JPEG file. If you're scanning files using a scanner, do not scan to JPEG. That will absolutely destroy the image quality of your file. Now, the image processor is a piece of cake. It'll quickly take those JPEGs and convert them to TIFF files so we can readily use them in an uncompressed format. Now that that's done, I'll just open that up and we'll see a folder full of TIFFs. There it is. Drag and drop. And this time, it'll run through Photoshop and it'll automatically read the name in using that Save As command that we built into the droplet. Now, it's very important there. Be sure you check the Override Save As command so it will specify how to name the files when it goes to close and save those. Otherwise, you can get stuck sitting there constantly hitting the return key for every single file name. The purpose of the droplet is so that you could set it up and start it to run and then walk away and check your email. Go to a conference meeting, return a phone call, do whatever you need to do while Photoshop keeps working without you. I hope you found this tip helpful. It's a great way to prepare your photos for a DVD slideshow. Really fast, really easy. Again, it's called creating a droplet, and you're going to harness those video actions, making a very easy to use drag and drop tool to get your DVD slideshows done fast. For Photoshop for Video, I'm your host, Rich Harrington, and I invite you to check out our resource blog at photoshopforvideo.com, where you'll find lots of information, samples from the book, and all sorts of things you could do and try out to get more from Adobe Photoshop. Thanks for joining us.